All right, Big Mike, thank you for being here, brother. I'm excited to see what you got to say. Do you want to say what's up to the people?
What's up, everybody? Big Mike here. Um, Happy to be here with my boy, the legend, Camel Finance.
Big Mike, do you want to give us, I don't know, maybe 2 to 5 minutes of background on how you became the most bullish Elliott waver I've ever seen in my entire life, to be frank?
Yeah, so, I started with just doing TA like 2017 or so, 2016. And then I had a job at the time. I was like a chef, almost a chef, more like a manager, trying to be a chef. And I was doing that on the side. And, you know, I, I didn't really understand a lot about how the market worked, and I didn't understand why, uh, it goes up and down, and sometimes it's sideways. And I made a lot of mistakes. I would chase candles, and I would sell. If I went long and I seen a red candle, I'd get scared immediately and sell. I blew up, an account or two in the beginning with options. I didn't do much with crypto. And then I started to find out about Bitcoin in like that time frame, like 2017 as well. And you know, I I just basically held spot, went long, held spot, and bought a couple of Bitcoin, some ETH, and all that. And I rode it all the way up and rode it all the way back down in that bear market right before 2020, and was just very sick to my stomach from that experience. And because I had like 300 Ethereum, and I watched it go to like $1,500 and then drop all the way back down to like $100. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I watched my account basically go from almost like 800,000 back to like whatever it was, 100,000, maybe even less. It might have been like 70,000 or something. So, uh, it was plenty of heartache and depression, and I got very sick. Wanted to vomit a few times, and just being like, "Fuck this! I'm not gonna do this." But then I just kind of like stayed with it because I'm a bit stubborn. I don't give up, and I found an Elliott Wave group. I'm not gonna mention his name. He's pretty famous now, but at the time uh, he was just becoming like very popular. He was starting to blow up because he had called the bear market. And I remember just thinking, how the hell did he do that? Like that was amazing to me that he called every like from all the way. I was watching him, I was following him. He called it all the way from the top. At that time, Bitcoin had run to like 20K, and he called it all the way back down to the bottom. And I just thought that was amazing. And I was like, this guy's like a friggin' oracle or something. And I know that at the time I didn't know what Elliott Wave was, but I knew that's what he was doing. So I joined his group, and I paid the sub to his group for like 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. And I read the book by Frost and Pretcher, Elliott Wave Theory. And it took me a while. I made a lot of mistakes and I couldn't really figure it out. But eventually, after like reading it maybe 4 or 5 times, it started to click, and I started to get pretty good at it right around 2021. And then into 2022 ish, I learned a lot in that bear market, and then came out very bullish. Uh, Somewhere in like towards the end of 2022, I started coming out bullish, but I was waiting for some, you know, uh, I was basically thinking maybe we would go to like 10K on Bitcoin, but we never did. We got down close to like 15 or 16. And there's another guy I follow on X. His name is Mr. Parabolic. I call him Master Splinter because he's also extremely very good at Elliott wave theory. And he was saying you couldn't go below 15, and that would keep this structure in place. So I started like checking my accounts against his, and basically I said that was, that's probably was the bottom, and then sometime in February. I became bullish in 2022 in February, and I've just been bullish and working my skills with Elliott Wave ever since. So that's my backstory basically.
Nice, nice. So, do you have it all memorized? Do you have all the rules and the nuances memorized, or do you sometimes have to go back to that book and like reference stuff?
I do go back to the book, but not that much anymore. Um, you know, in the book, chapters 1 and 2 are really the chapter. If you read through the book, it even tells you in the beginning, if you don't want to get too technical with the Fibonacci ratios and you don't want to go through all the, because they lay out a bunch of different charts from the Dow Jones, uh, going back to the Great Depression. So if you don't want to get into all the technical stuff, you can just read chapter 1 and 2, mostly chapter 2, because chapter 2 goes through the corrections in very good detail. So I will breeze through chapter 2. It's like 30 something pages maybe. Sometimes I'll just breeze through it if I got nothing to do. But for the most part, I feel like I got most of it memorized. It seems like every time I miss something, like I missed the correction in March around OPEX. So every time I make a mistake and I miss something, I'll go back and I'll read through chapter 2. And I did do that, and I had noticed that the authors had mentioned in some part of chapter 2 that do yourself a favor and keep an hourly chart up at all times and always count the hourly chart and then reference it back to the higher time frame. So I made that change basically, I would say April of this year. Sorry, I got 2 dogs and they like to hump each other and steal each other's bones. Yeah. So I made that change, and I've been pretty successful since then, since April, just watching the lower time frame. It's a lot more work because you have to think a little bit differently. It's kind of hard to explain because when you count the higher time frame, you can extend the swings out and you can see a larger part of the cycle. So that's important as well. But on the lower time frame, things change very quickly and corrections develop longer. Like if you're on the 30-minute, you could see like an ABC develop on the 30-minute, and you might think to yourself, oh shit, that was the correction. But then it develops into another B wave, and sometimes the B wave overshoots the top of whatever, like let's say it's a 3 on the lower time frame and we're in a 4, and it does ABC. And then the B wave comes and you're impulsive. You're like, wow, that looks impulsive. But it overshoots the top of the A, so it gets you like feeling like, yep, that was it. Correction's over. Turns into like a running flat or an expanded flat. And then you're like, oh shit, now I got to look down and I got to fib it out and I got to see where this correction's going. Maybe it's going lower than I thought. Now I got to see if I can get 5 waves to count a C, because a flat will be 3 ABC down, 3 ABC up B, and then 5 C. So it's just like you just have to be really quick and ready to pivot, like when you're on the lower time frame. But it's been good. I really like it.
Yeah, so I was going to ask actually, because something you seem extremely good at is pivoting, right? And so I was going to ask, does that just come from sticking to your system? Does that come from having like hard invalidations, or is that something you had to train through like psychological type books or something like that?
I think probably just practicing and knowing that the crypto is 24/7 and it moves, the lower time frame moves very quickly, and knowing that I'm probably going to be wrong before I'm right. And I enjoy when I'm right the whole time. It's like an ego boost. I'm like, yeah, I'm the man, and sometimes I get a little bit cocky on X about it. But it's like you really, when you're on the lower time frame and you're watching this thing develop, and it's happened so many times, I'm like, that's it. I nailed it. And then it turns into a deeper correction. I was like, fuck, shit, that now we're going down again. So I have to pivot. And I noticed like reply guys, I don't think they understand it like you, like as well as you and me. A lot of the reply guys will be like, you're flip flopping, I can't take this. 1 minute you're bullish, 1 minute you're bearish. But it's just the nature of the lower time frame, because the lower time frame is constantly doing that. It's constantly going up and down, and the bias is changing so quickly. So I try to put up like 3-day charts and weekly charts to remind my followers that I'm still very bullish, even though I was saying I want ETH down to 4,300 for a while, and people were getting upset with me. And I was just like, well, here's the 3-day chart. I think we're going to 6,300, and then I think we're going to 7,200, just to kind of calm them down. I don't know.
Yeah, I call it strong opinions weakly held. And I think that's like such a good way to describe it. You've got to have conviction in your idea, but you've got to be ready to give it up. And you are right. The reply guys do not like that. They want to be basically spoon fed. They want to be have their hands held and be told like it's going up or it's going down or whatever. And they don't like the pivoting. But yeah, in this game, you've got to be willing to abandon your idea and move on, because the market, if it's going to move on, is going to do that with or without you, right? So that's super cool.
They don't get it.
No, they don't. They don't. But we probably didn't when we first started either, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's like it's complicated. I don't know how you are, but I don't feel like if I look back at that time and I say to myself, wow, like how really I had no idea, like completely no idea when I first started to where it is now,
Yeah, and it's amazing that the longer you do it, like you become more and more fluent over time. And that's been something that I think that's what's kept me in it so much, was like, I love to win at a game that is designed for me to lose at, but I also love the fact that like there is no ceiling for the skill set, right? Or for experience. Like every year you're here, you learn something. Every time something weird happens, like the tariff tantrum, you can like, at times, like I married that up to the taper tantrum in 2018. It was very similar to that, I felt. But there were times when like it's nothing like that, like the yen carry trade unwind, like that was just another one. I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. And I just love the way like it's constantly developing. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to develop on. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like the love of the game is unlike anything else.
Yeah, you develop that, like you said, with the yen carry trade and the tariffs was, it was shown the yen carry trade showed up on the 10-year and the 2-year inversion, because the 10-year and 2-year uninverted after about almost 2 years of being inverted. And if you're not watching the bond market and you don't understand that this inversion means something's, and if you don't understand that the inversion itself was not the scary part. The scary part is when it uninverts. So all these like little, right?
Can you actually? That might be a nice way. Can you pull up a 10-year yield? Because I think we're both in agreement here that the yields are going lower. So have you got a yield chart, two or a 10-year you can show us?
This is the 10-year versus the 3-month, but I have the 10-year. Rate cuts definitely support this theory, right? I mean, I was honestly, I was getting scared about that one, bro. Like I was like, holy shit! If this is an inverted head and shoulders, man, we're going to 7%. I was like, fuck me. What does that mean? That's not good. So, thank God, it looks like that's not going to happen.
So you have us. I take it you have us moving lower, 3, 4, and 5 to come. Have you got a downside target?
Well, this is a fib. This is a fib retracement here in the pink, basically fibbing out this ending, leading diagonal for this move, and it's really hard to count the 10-year in Elliott wave. It really is not easy at all. So, and I have changed this chart a lot. I'm not going to deny that this chart has changed a few times. So I've got this line right here as resistance, which used to be some type of lower time frame inverted head and shoulders. And I think what, this yellow line right here marked off at 298 is some major support and resistance. So I think it's definitely coming back down here. And my gut is it'll probably break through that. And if this is a wave two, if this is a wave one, we started a wave one. If this is a wave two, it can come way down here, because the rules Elliott wave is you can test a 2 to 1 less degree. So it could be this 2. I don't think it would be this 2, because this is the 2 of this 1. But this 2 is up for grabs. Honestly, I don't think it's going to do that. I think there's a higher probability. It might be an ABC. This is the A, and we're doing the C, and this is a high time frame B, and then we might do another C. But I can't be sure until, the only way I can say if it's a 2 or a B would be how deep it goes. Like the 50%, a lot of Elliott wave guys would say that satisfies the rules of the 2, and it does. But I've noticed more often than not, a bounce off the 50 is likely a B, not a 2. We get down here to the 618. Now we start getting into that 2. And I could say, okay, this was a 1. This is a 2. And then we can do a 3 and go much higher. So first of all, I would say where I think 3% is definitely in the cards for the next big move down, especially once they get into cutting 25, 50 basis points. And if it turns into some type of runaway recession, and it's just like rates just nuke, then the 3 could really accelerate to who knows where.
That's been my base case. My base case is that we're going to go towards 0, because the printing isn't even going to work unless we're at or near 0. So I think we're going to have to be down around 1.5 or less, I think. For the if I'm right about the recession, I've been like a perma recession caller. I haven't been a perma bear. I've been extremely bullish, but I've also been suggesting we're like nudging towards that recession, and eventually it's going to show up. And when it does, I do think they are going to have to cut these rates all the way down to 0, and then I think they're going to print them. And then I've been saying that we'll probably see these rates hiked way beyond where they have peaked for this cycle, which actually fits the idea of your 2 into the 3 out of like 2026 or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if they print, they need to drop them. They need to slam them to 0 to get if they want this whole thing to work. I mean, that's their playbook. Recession, slam rates, usually some type of global event causes that, right? And then 2008, 2020. So if they want it to work, they have to get rates to 0, and then they have to print.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. Yeah, super wild.
No problem.
Okay, so are you? It sounds to me like you're fully in the recession camp. I don't know why I'm pretending like I didn't know this. I'm pretty sure I knew this already. But for the viewers at home, right, you are in the same camp as me, right? You think this recession is probably coming, I would say, next year. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong.
I do, yeah. I think it's unavoidable. I think this is, this chart basically tells it all. That maybe in the beginning this will be good, but if we start to see interest rates nuke, and that's a bad thing, and that's usually a recession.
So
have you pretty much agreed with that?
Good. Have you got like a stock market chart we can look at next? S&P or the Dow or any of those? And do you see? Okay, I got a question for you actually. So I suppose we should probably go one thing at a time. Maybe you could show us your count, and then I want to ask you about the nesting 1s and 2s idea. Not that I know what I'm talking about with Elliott wave by any means, but maybe you can help shine some light on this.
Sure. Yeah. So this is my Nasdaq count. I also have the S&P. I can bring that up as well. It was very impulsive. I saw this as a 1 coming up, and a 2, and then a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, because the 3 has to break into 5. And then what you have to do is you have to look back at your at the previous count to know where you're at. So this is a minute, and on the minute, it's attached to this 1 and 2. So this 3 has to have 5 waves, and this one is the minute time frame, which is like the daily. It has to have 5 waves. So I think the jury is still out if this 4th is in or not. It looks like we're probably going to get this 4th here, attached to this 3, which is the 3 eyes. And then once we get that, somebody's beeping. Hey. No, sorry, man. I have these 2 dogs, and almost all of my videos, there's some drama with these 2 dogs. So this would be the 4th. So that's basically the count. And when you see a series of 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 5 3 4 5, it's really impossible. Ultimately, I think we end around there, 25,858, 26,000 for the Nasdaq. I'm struggling with this 4th. I've seen there's a couple of people I follow on X that chart the Nasdaq as well, and one of them has called this move pretty well. But I don't think it's going to need to test all the way down here to 20,000. I don't think that's coming. It might. I don't know. Usually the rule is the 4th to 1 less degree. So anywhere down here, 21.5 to 21,950 can be the 4th.
Is there a chance that we can count this slightly different and call the whole thing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2? Starting from there, from there, because I noticed, and I was talking about this, like, to be clear, I think most people that know me know this already, but I'm not an Elliott wave guy. It's something I've been playing around with fairly recently, but I have seen some other Elliott wave guys talk about this, that it could be a bunch of nesting 1s and 2s, and the reason that each one of these corrections has kind of been getting smaller along the way is because they're at 1 lesser degree on the way up. And so the implication is, if that count is correct, then we're about to go 3 4 3 4 3 4 3 4 5 on the way up. And so, is that an alternate count you've got on your radar? Is there a way you can invalidate that? Am I flat wrong about this idea, or is this possibly the melt up about to start to go near vertical?
Well, I mean, it is a series of 1 2 1 2s, and we are in the 3 4 5 part of the 5. If this is all a 1 and we go very deep for the 2, maybe, but I don't see how, unless we zoom out somewhere and I'm looking at a different time frame, I don't see how this can go into another 1 2. At this point, I think we're pretty close to the last stage of it. It just depends on when this 4th finishes, and then after this, the recession's going to hit. My opinion, I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, that kind of makes sense for me as well. And we've got a daily cycle due any day now, and then a weekly cycle due about 40 trading days after that. So, kind of says to me it could all be done sometime around November.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like it's going to completely be blindsiding. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, hey, here we go, recession's here. It's going to like hit people, because there's always going to be that buy the dip stuff going on, and there's always going to be bullish momentum. So it'll be kind of like shocking to people, in my opinion, when they get to that, when it actually hits, they won't even know we're in it.
Yeah, I agree, and I see a lot of people talking about the rate cuts being super bullish as well, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think these are going to be cuts into a slowdown, which is historically quite bearish, which means we could probably see 1 or 2, and then I think everyone's going to be jumping up and down, going rate cuts are here, easing, all of that kind of thing, and very quickly it morphs into, oh, actually these are cuts into a recession, which is extremely bearish.
Yeah. Just initially maybe bullish.
Yeah, so a couple things. Do you think this is deliberate from the Fed? I've been throwing around this term controlled demolition. I kind of think they're doing this deliberately. I want to know if you is the tinfoil hat on too tight, or can you see where I'm coming from there?
I do, yeah, yeah. I mean, they, I can see your point there. Yeah, they probably should have been doing this a while ago. But I don't. I mean, like when I look at this chart here, I'll bring up the 10-year and the 3-month because, I mean, this is tinfoil hat shit right here. Let me just where the hell. Yeah, so this is what I agree with what you're saying because as long as this asset remains inverted, it's a bull party, So who's got all the ability, who's got all the money and all the power to constantly, be buying and selling this large amount of bonds to control it, it can only be them. It can only be the Fed to manipulate the biggest market in the world. Basically, it's the bond market, and so this is insanity to me. It's like inversion, uninverted, inversion, uninverted, inversion, uninverted, inversion. Like this is, what are they doing? It's so clear right here. They're doing. Who's fucking doing this? This is complete manipulation. This is not the free market. Hell no.
Yeah.
So to your point, yeah, they're controlling this shit. When they're ready to pull the plug, whenever that is, sometime next year, then they're going to do it, and they'll let this thing uninvert and normalize.
Are you into gold and silver? I'm pretty sure you're into those markets as well, right?
Yeah, I do. I track them.
So I think I'm the most bullish on gold in the entire universe. I'd love to see a gold and a silver chart from you.
Your charts are definitely, I had to think. I'm like, damn, Camel thinks gold's going up. That I gotta look at my shit. Definitely. I got a good amount of physical silver too. I'm loving the fact that silver's finally freaking going.
Yeah, it's about time, isn't it? It's about time.
Yeah, I mean, oh, brutal, man. It's like being trapped in an altcoin bear market for 10 years. Right? It's just there's never relief. There's never, like, you can always say, and if you're in altcoins, you're like, oh, it's going to be a dead cat bounce or something to get out. It's like, nope. Silver is just fucked. It's always fucked. And the guys on YouTube, they'll make you feel good. They're like, oh, JP Morgan's gonna pull their short and whatever, it's gonna go up, Apparently they have a big short. I mean, this is what I have. I have a 3, but I think it's gonna go up somewhere over here to 37, maybe 38, and then we'll get a 4, and then it's gonna go, maybe around the time that the Fed, goes into that easing cycle. Because when the rates drop, I don't think gold's going to do very good. But then maybe when they cut and they start printing, it looks like I'm seeing like 5 somewhere close up here. But this could be, I haven't looked at it in a while. This could be a part of a bigger cycle. I know you're looking for like 7, I think.
I'm looking, well, I don't know. To be honest, I like the idea there's one squeeze. I think that the most recent consolidation is enough to. I don't think we need to necessarily go down from here. I think what we've done in terms of time for the last however many weeks that was, I think that's probably enough, and we can probably get going straight up from here practically. But then I think we're going to see a big correction for precious metals.
Past what I said, past like that 38, 3,900, you're thinking it's just going to go up to higher levels from here?
Oh, I think it goes way higher than that. I think it probably gets closer to 5K. But maybe I'm crazy.
No, it's just, why not, man? It's one of the best performing assets since, like, 2022, I'd say. Yeah, look, it's, if you put it into a triangle, it's breaking out right here.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's done correcting here. I think it's done consolidating, and I think it's got one final like blow off top move here. That's what I've been calling for, and I think it probably ends up closer to 5k than 3,800. And then, like I said, I think we got to have a whopping great correction because this thing undergoes 8-year cycles, and its half cycle low, or said another way, its 4-year cycle low is actually synced up with the stock market and bitcoins in late next year, which makes me think that this is going to be like the final hurrah, and then we're going to have some big sort of sideways and down correction into late 2026.
Okay. I mean, I'm just looking at it here, and I haven't charted in a while. And there's a bunch of guys in my group that like they are huge PM holders, and it's just like the crypto. It's like the Bitcoin and the Ethereum just keep me so busy. I almost never look at it. It's been a while, but it could be this. It could be, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. That was a 4. We don't need to test this 4th to 1 less degree. And then we got a 5 up here somewhere. Like you said, 5,000. And then we got a 4. Comes back down to this 4. And then we got a 5 up here somewhere. That's a high time frame 5 attached to this one. It could just be a very, up and to the right kind of chart.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking personally. But I just think that 5 of the 5 is going to be way higher.
Yeah, no, it can, yeah. It can extend. I've seen targets like in the 20,000.
Yeah, that's my kind of that's my kind of area.
I'm hoping silver gets some kind of love from this because I sold off some of my. I had a couple of physical gold bars that I got rid of when it hit like 3,000 because at that time I thought that it wouldn't go past 32, and here we are at 35, and it's still fucking going. So, hopefully silver does catch up.
I'm pretty sure silver's gonna outperform, continue to move higher. I think it's gonna, what, that count we just had for gold, I think silver's gonna do practically the same thing. So I think like we've started the move above 50 now, like towards 50 and then above 50. And I reckon anywhere between 50 and 60 for silver would be pretty good. I know like David Hunter's got a 75 target or something like that, which I think is maybe a bit too high. But then I think it's going to correct again into like late 2026. And then I think from there, we finally get the move that everyone in the world has been waiting for, or all the silver guys have, which is from, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks in late 26 to 300 plus, I think.
Oh, God. Make it happen, please.
That's what I think is coming in response to the printing. But, I mean, I don't know. How big is that JP Morgan short, right?
Yeah. Hey. I don't know if they're gonna squeeze them, but wouldn't it be kind of a great thing if around the time that you're saying that short gets magically erased or something, they pull it for whatever reason? Who knows? They've been known to do that. They'll come in and put that straddle in, like right around OPEX, and they'll put a straddle in. I think the last one was at like 5,000 or 5,100, and at the last OPEX in June, I think they did that, and everybody was saying S&P was going to go down, and we were going to go down back into the high threes. And then I seen JP Morgan put that straddle, and I was like, nope, it ain't going down. Send it higher,
I mean, I think they would know better than to be short out of enormous amounts of QE, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I got the bars and some coins. I feel kind of weird about selling them, man. I'm like weird. I like to look at my coins and I'm like, oh, look how beautiful it is. Like the guy from what's that Lord of the Rings, my precious.
Well,
that's how I am with my silver.
Here in the UK, it's like they do their absolute best to stop people being able to profit from it, because I checked the other day. I checked last night actually. to sell 1 ounce of silver in the UK, they will give you spot at about £30. But if you want to buy it immediately back, what with the spread on the coins, and then they also add VAT at 20%, which means it's £44 to buy, or you or £30 for them to buy it from you, right? So £30 to sell, or 44 to buy. And like that means, yeah, you need to really like hold it for a long time and time it well to be able to actually make decent gains from it. But the good news is, I think for anyone that's kind of upset about that, then that 2030 to 2032 timeline should be pretty good.
Well, you think it can go even higher by then, like
so
maybe to 1,000?
Oh, I didn't say that. But my timeline for like 2030 to 2032, that's when I think we see $200 to $300 silver and like 20K plus gold. That's when I think we see it.
I mean, I have the miners, so I buy the junior silver miners. I buy them with my IRA. So I'm just gonna sell this. I'm gonna sell those on those pumps. But I think I'll hold the physical probably out, until like I see some big number like 300, 400, 500. I'm just dreaming about 1,000. I can't get the chart there, but
or until like a zombie apocalypse or something like that, right?
Yeah. Silver's gonna be in huge demand because we're bartering with silver or something, and I'll be like, now we're rich, fam. I'll tell my kids. I just bought a mansion with a silver coin that I spent $30 on in 2011. Because literally, that's like how much it's up 40. It's $40, right? I think I bought it for like $28 in 2011.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Look how long you've had to hold this shit for. Ridiculous, right?
Yeah, but I think we're finally there. I do. What about Bitcoin, altcoins, that kind of thing? I'm not really an altcoin guy, but I know some viewers will want to see them. They don't get them from me, so maybe you could bless them with a few.
I mean, I can give them you want my picks, like which ones I have, or just like Bitcoin?
If you could start with Bitcoin, and then, I don't know, you can show whatever you want, really. Yeah. You don't have to give away any secrets, or you can choose to. I'll leave it up to you. Maybe just do like ETH and Sol or something. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I've been kind of leaning towards this chart lately on Bitcoin. I feel like, and I don't know if your cycles support this. I feel like we might run into some trouble around the meeting and after the meeting. So I've been kind of liking the way this diagonal looks, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I don't know if you remember some of the work I put up. I was looking at Bitcoin to hold 111,800, and I was really like, that level's not going to fail, but it failed, and now I'm like, fuck. Now I got to go back to the lab. And I got to count this shit again. So I kind of like walked away from it for a bit and just been leaning on my ETH count because my ETH count's been pretty spot on. And I've been thinking, well, maybe that's because ETH and the altcoins are leading right now, and Bitcoin's taking a back seat. We don't need Bitcoin to go constantly parabolic. This is kind of what we need. We need Bitcoin to show some weakness, and this will give the altcoins a chance to go. So that kind of led me into this because it's kind of hard to explain the overlap. I don't know if you can see right here, this ABC, this move hitting into this one is hard to explain at this time. Maybe in a week or two or a month, I'll look back and say, oh, it was something else. I don't know. But at this time, this overlap is hard to explain unless it's a diagonal, because that's the only time you could get a 4 over a 1. And so it's like impulse 3. So quickly, I'm just like, diagonal. It's just like this little spidey sense I'm getting. I've seen so many of them this cycle Yeah, and I wouldn't even have picked up on it before. I swear to God, like they're so hard to catch. You really don't even know you're in them until it's done. But since there's been so many diagonals in this cycle, I've been catching them a lot quicker. So I brought this count out, and I kind of imagining that we're going to probably hit like 130, 140, and it's possible we'll see a bigger correction sometime in October into November. And this will be the altcoins catching up right here. This will be Ethereum going to like 5,600, 5,800, 6,000, 6,300. We know one of those levels. And this will be like the smaller shit coins, just maybe catching up. Maybe we can get them, you know, back above 2024 all-time highs, March all-time highs, or December 2024 all-time highs. But I think this move would, if it's Bitcoin going to 130, 140, and if it's ETH making a huge push, I think a lot of the altcoins are probably going to just take a back seat, and it's going to be ETH season. Like it's pretty much been ETH season, and I think it's just going to probably continue until ETH breaks 5,000, flips it into support, and finds that higher level, wherever that is. Like I said, 63 to 7. You know, and that's when it slows down. And then I think it would be too easy for market makers to just give us that humongous alt season. I'll bring up my Bitcoin dominance chart to kind of show it. I think it would be too easy for the market makers to just give us that epic alt season at that point. So I'm kind of forecasting this. I don't show it that much. It's been in my group for a while now. I've been on this count for a while, so the group knows. But I think we'll hit a B wave. I think it's going to hit right now around 59.2 to 59.5. And then when it drops into this fifth wave, it has the possibility to hit most likely 54.7 to 53.35. And I think it's unfortunately going to be mostly ETH. I don't think, you know, probably ETH, XRP, Solana. Those guys are gonna get some big, you know, momentum. But a lot of the shitty small cap coins that all of us hold because we want to catch them going from whatever it is, $2 to $100 or 50 cents to $20. I don't think those coins are going to get that pump just yet. I think that pump is coming off of this B wave. So it'll be like everyone's calling alt season, but it's really mostly ETH season, maybe XRP, maybe Solana, like I said, and then a pretty decent rug. And then when sentiment is completely flushed and everybody is like, we're never going to get alt season here. Look at this. It's just ETH season, and it's ETH season. It's XRP season. I think that's when this move right here, the B into the C, is when all the alts are just going to have a good big run. And this move, I think, goes down here somewhere to 46%, maybe even 42. End of the year, early 2026. So we're about 5 to 6 maybe months out of that big run. We're just going to have to deal with a B wave rug.
It's super interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting because I have the weekly cycles pretty much exactly synced up with this. So where you've got the completion of this next leg down into the A, that's where I have the weekly cycle forming. And if you could go back to the Bitcoin chart, I have us like trying to find a bottom here, which would support that final push into the ending diagonal you showed. And then the correction into the 2 would also fit perfectly. Well, if it happened a bit quicker than what you've got there, if it was shunted to the left-hand side by a few weeks, then it would perfectly marry up with a weekly cycle low as well. But I wanted to ask, this 2 you've got there on the Bitcoin chart, at what wave degree is this?
This would be the where's this one? This would be a minor time frame right here. So this one will be probably the daily. I didn't label it yet because I haven't confirmed it, but this will be the daily, and the daily is the minute time frame. I'm just having a hard time reconciling the whole, how does Bitcoin go to do a 3, 4, 5 to like 300, 400,000 by, in my bias being, but my bias being by, end of Q1 of 2026, So that's why I'm kind of leery about this, but I think it's going to unfold. I just don't know how. It would be this right here. If you go to the settings of the impulse, you can see the minute. This is the daily, and I can fib it out and just do this is complete speculation though. This is not, nothing's confirmed here, but you can kind of estimate what it might do based on fibs. And I don't know how the fibs work for when you do your cycle analysis, but in Elliott Wave, the 1618 is a general area. We look for the 3, right? And then the 4 would test whatever 4 is to the lower degree, or the 382. And then the 5 would be up here somewhere, like 400,000 or so, and that would be all types of 5s. And a lot of people would be, oh no, that would be a 3. I'm sorry. That would be this 3. And then these 5s probably get pushed out to the next cycle. I wouldn't even pay attention to them. And then maybe this 4 is the alien invasion, and then we see it going from 400,000 to 150. Max, part of me, I don't know how you feel about this, but part of me thinks Max Payne is just, Bitcoin going to $1 million, never letting anybody in.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point. I think there has to be a 4-year cycle low. As a cycle trader, I think I can't bet against there not being a significant shakeout into kind of late 2026. I mean, that low can wiggle around by a good few months, but there should be a very visible low on the kind of weekly and monthly time frames around that kind of late 2026 time frame, which would kind of fit your wave 4 there, right? I don't know if we can go all the way to I hope so, but I don't. 400 and something K just seems like it's probably not going to happen. I don't know, do you have an alternate count for this?
Yeah, I have. I haven't been working this. Let me see. This is the one I've been doing the lower time frame, but it got invalidated when 111K didn't hold, 111,800, and so I just haven't updated it. But I have a higher time frame count here. It's just very messy, and it looks like it's calling for 300, 286 to 300 for the 5th, and then we hit this major bear market here. Down here we're 15,000. We can even go lower, because this is a cycle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. You see that 3 in orange? And then where's the 4? Well, we know the 4 goes to 4 to 1 less degree. Well, here's the 4 to 1 less degree. We're down here at 3,000, right? Dang. So if it's this count, I will be backing up the truck, man. If I get this, and it looks like 2027, something like that, like you were saying, and then we're gone into 2030. We're, who knows, 2, 3, 4, 5 million per coin.
Does Elliott Wave say it has to come back to that low? That seems like it would break the network.
Well, it says that the 4th has to. The 4th it's not a rule, but it's a guideline. That the 4th can test the 4th to 1 less degree. Also, it uses the 3/8, which is my favorite, which is right. It's speculating it hits this fifth. Now that's just a complete speculation, but it could be here at 13,000. It could be somewhere over here at 18, 19, 20,000, depending how high this goes. The higher we go, the higher that 3/8 is. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna let it. I don't think they're gonna let people get it unless we really hit like um, a really bad bear market that just I mean, Mr. Parabolic, he's got similar targets down here, 18 to 20,000 in the next bear market. He thinks the guy from he thinks what's his name, Michael Saylor is gonna get liquidated.
I would not at all be surprised. Not because I think there's anything like shady about him necessarily. I know some people do. Some people, I've seen a lot of people saying he might be a plant or something like that. I'm not sure if I buy that, but I think like markets function like heat-seeking missiles for that kind of behavior. So if some hedge fund or some quant in some institution somewhere in a back room can find a way to get him to be forced to sell his Bitcoin and blow up, then they will do that, right? That's just how markets work. They just function in that manner. So I would not at all be surprised if that happens. And did you see like the US government's buying Intel and stuff? Bought like 10% of Intel.
Yeah.
It made me wonder if they could just do the same to MicroStrategy and then start to be like, well, you need to sell your Bitcoin now. And then he still gets to save face and say, well, he didn't want to do it, but the government made him or whatever. I don't know. There's like a million, I'm just spitballing, of course, but there's like a million different ways it could happen. But it just would not at all surprise me. And even if it's not MicroStrategy, I reckon a bunch of these other treasury companies that have kind of copied his playbook, I reckon a bunch of those are either going to panic sell or sell to protect downside, or maybe they've got like a leverage structure internally that we don't know about that Saylor hasn't, right? That is forced to be blown up. It would not at all surprise me. There's always something like that in these bear markets, I find.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they might even do they might even bail him out like they bailed out the banks. Imagine.
I never thought of that, but that's actually genius, isn't it? Like you force him to be liquidated, then kind of give him one of those cartel type loans so that he's in your pocket, and then you control a big chunk of Bitcoin without even having to buy it.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, bear market shit, but holy crap, if that happens, I just want some popcorn. I'm gonna watch it. See, that's all.
Is there anything else you want to show us, or can I ask you about aliens now, Big Mike?
Yeah, let's talk aliens.
Okay. Tell me about the aliens, Big Mike.
That's what they want.
There's a few people that seem to be really into this. There's not that many people I've encountered that seem to be as sold on the idea as I am. And I think you are as well. I think you're as sold, if not maybe more sold than I am. So again, don't let me put words in your mouth. Let me know if you think this is possible. Is it likely? Is it certain? What do you think is going to happen or probably going to happen? And, how did you arrive at this conclusion?
Right. Yeah. So, well, first off, I gotta throw respect to you because you came out with this idea first. I seen it on X, and I had been thinking it for a while, and I just wasn't talking about it too much. I just kind of kept it to myself. But then you came out on X, and that kind of gave me some more confidence to say, hey, listen, if Camel's seen the same thing, and his cycle analysis is always pretty much on point, like it's probably that, like it's probably got a good chance. And there were some other theories going on at the time. I think Christian had I followed this Christian Cortez. He's very good, and he had some solar wind flares would come in or something like that, and that would be the reason why they crashed the market. I just have this, I don't know what to call it. I don't know if were you around during 2017? There was for that bull market went for crypto.
Yeah, I didn't trade crypto, but I watched it happen. I've been trading. I was trading stocks and that kind of thing before then, but I didn't buy Bitcoin until the 2018 bear market lows.
Right. So there was a guy, and I don't remember his name, and it just keeps slipping my memory. He was an older guy. He was like a software engineer for a huge corporation company. I can't remember which corporation it was in the USA. He developed some type of algorithm uh, or something to scour the internet and search through all of these like backroom dark web chats
Cliff
where
high.
people would be. That's it. That's the guy. Yeah. So he developed this, and at that time I didn't know anything about Elliott Wave or anything, so I was listening to a lot of his stuff, and he had this coined this phrase called woo woo. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just if your listeners don't know, basically that algorithm he called it woo woo because it was loosely based on some type of like spiritual phenomenon, some type of unknown energy, but also based on this mathematical algorithm that he was using to scour the internet, right? So I feel like this aliens idea is a bit of like this woo woo for me, I guess you can call it. Like I can't quite explain how. I'm confident in that it's going to happen, but I've done enough like research on it, and I think it's got a really good chance that it's going to happen. I think this Three Eye Atlas is basically the Trojan horse. You know, if you look at how they're, I don't know if you've seen the videos that they're doing on it. The science community is divided right now, and they have this guy Avi Loeb, who's basically a Harvard scientist. And when I look at Avi Loeb, I think um, Anthony Fauci. It's like the first thing that comes to my mind because Anthony Fauci was a doctor, a high level doctor. And then I think to myself, I guess this is part of the woo woo. I think to myself, well, I know if I'm trying to pull off a fake alien invasion, the same way I'm trying to pull off a fake pandemic, I need a couple of pieces of the puzzle to fit. You know, I need somebody reputable, like a doctor, like a scientist. I know that I need to sway the media and swaying the media and getting the media to back it. So there's like these different pieces. So they have enough money. If they have enough money to pull off a global pandemic, if they have enough money to pull off a fake alien invasion, they got enough money to pay these doctors to write or say whatever the fuck they want. I mean, this is my opinion. So that's my theory. He's this Avi Loeb guy is, I don't know if he's paid with money or he's just like he's loving the fame he's getting because he's becoming so famous, or maybe it's like a self-fulfilling thing where they give him a bit of money, they fund him a bit, and now they're putting him on TV. He's going on different news networks. He's becoming famous. So maybe it's a little bit of that as well. Maybe it's not they're just paying him off millions of dollars. Maybe it's like this self-fulfilling thing where they get him started and now he's on his own because he really thinks it. So does any of that make sense?
Yeah. Who is this guy though? I think I've completely missed this guy.
Okay, Avi Loeb is a Harvard physicist, and he basically he spotted a few years ago in 2017 there was a comet or an asteroid that flowed through our system. They discovered it in Hawaii, and they named it Oumuamua because that's the name of the Hawaii observatory
Yep.
that they used to see it and find it. He came out back then, and he said this comet or this asteroid is not moving in the same sort of trajectory that a normal comet or asteroid would move in. And they were talking about how it doesn't have a coma, and the coloring of it and everything like that. But it came and it passed our planet, and it just left, and we forgot about it. But they were saying how it left very deliberately. It left the system, it left our solar system very deliberately. It accelerated out of the solar system. It gained speed, when it should have just kind of maintained its regular speed and just gravity or whatever's out there in space pulled it into that cloud, that Oort cloud, and it lands over there somewhere, or maybe it goes through it, just whatever random act of nature. But they're saying that Oumuamua accelerated out of our solar system, and then this new comet is so Avi Loeb. He spotted Oumuamua, so he's been around since 2017, and the science community is kind of like they kind of like laugh at him, I guess, or what, I don't know if they laugh at him. I mean, they just discredit him because of that. Oumuamua, he was saying that he thought that it might be like one of the what do they call them? Like a satellite or something. That aliens sent that asteroid to pretend to be an asteroid when it really was just like an observing ship, a satellite ship that just flew past us to see what's going on Earth. So he had that theory. That was his original theory, and he became kind of famous and also hated for that. And now we have Three Eye Atlas, and he's following up again, and he's becoming famous again because of it, because now he's saying Three Eye Atlas is the mothership. He's saying Oumuamua was their satellite ship that they flew past us to just check us out, and this the mothership, and the mothership might be coming here to invade. You know, that's pretty much the story.
Okay, I was aware of Oumuamua. I just didn't know that guy's name. But thank you for explaining that. I don't think you're crazy at all. I don't think you're crazy. The cliff high thing was fascinating to me. Like you say, his whole idea is that the humans are psychic. And then he built a bot to screen all of the online conversation, because his idea is that psychic leaks, which people don't even really realize they're leaking all the time, make their way into like chat rooms and conversations and trends and themes. And so he built a bot to screen for that, as you said. And it's really fascinating because it predicted all sorts of things. Like it even predicted Trump would go on the Joe Rogan podcast. It predicted Trump would be president. All of this other crazy stuff as well. And one of the things it predicted was that we would get into this kind of timeline and we would see a whole heap of UFOs and aliens and that kind of thing. And at the time, I was like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't even make sense. He also predicted the GFC, I think, as well. And a bunch of other, like, stock market. Yeah. Made a bunch of money from stock trading and stuff like that using this bot, which is, like, really fascinating. It's often kind of... I don't know if wrong is the right word to describe it. It's often misinterpreted because it also finds new language as it becomes available. And oftentimes he's like, oh, we've got this new word, but I don't know in what context it's going to be used. So that's kind of like super weird. But when you say like you don't know how to describe it, I often call it like intuition. And I do believe it just kind of like bleeds in from some higher field. And that's why a lot of people know about it, but or can feel it. But there's also a whole heap of other things. Like the more you look around at this stuff, the more you can kind of like grab puzzle pieces and slowly put them together over time. At least that's how I find it. And like the media of late has been drip feeding this stuff over the past couple of years. I don't think anyone can kind of dispute that. They've definitely been showing like orbs and UAPs and like all of this kind of thing and strange lights and that definitely has increased in frequency and intensity in the last, I don't know, 12 or 18 months or so. All of this as well, for me, stemmed from years and years and years ago. I heard something I thought was absolutely ridiculous and I laughed out loud when I heard it, but it stuck in the back of my mind. And then like years later, I was like, oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And it was, I forget exactly who it was. Like, I think I heard it on a Joe Rogan podcast that there was some kind of like government insider that on their deathbed, I'm sure we could Google this and pull the names. But on their deathbed, they said, beware the fake alien invasion, right? The final card they will play in the New World Order is the fake alien invasion. And when I heard this, I thought this was so absurd that I couldn't stop laughing about it. It was only, like I say, many years later that I suddenly like, actually, that doesn't seem so crazy anymore. It almost seems like that could be a thing. And I don't know whether it will be totally fake or whether... I've also seen some like ideas that there's like some kind of coalition between aliens and humans and that ends next year or the year after. I don't know how I feel about any of this really, apart from one thing I'm quite good at is kind of stepping back and looking around me. And when I look around me, it seems like, number one, it is way more accepted these days than it was like 5 or 10 years ago. Number two, it seems like the media is definitely drip feeding it, like trickling it into the collective consciousness, if you will. And number three, they seem to have been like conditioning people to kind of be more open to it, right? It's kind of like, oh, well, there's orbs, there's UAPs. They've had like high level like military guys come out and say things like, oh, we found a tic-tac-toe, or like, oh, we found this UAP or this unidentified flying thing or whatever. And they kind of seem to be wanting to give more credibility to that over time, which, you know, all of these are just individual puzzle pieces. They kind of mean nothing, but you kind of start putting them together, at least I do. And I find myself thinking, like, this now seems to be fairly reasonable to assume is going to show up in the next few years. So I hope I'm kind of wrong about that. I really do. But I'm kind of going to be more surprised if it doesn't show up than if it does. So that's kind of where I sit on this whole thing. I don't know.
Agreed. Yeah, of course. It's like you said, it's like they're conditioning the public, the mainstream media. They're conditioning us to be ready for the event or meeting alien. I mean, like you said, high level, especially in America, a lot of high level, Air Force pilots and are all coming out saying that they've actually seen UAPs, and it's like right on regular TV, Channel 2, you know, for America, like a main channel. It can be on Channel 2 or Channel 7. So yeah.
Yeah, and then Cliff High's bot thing, going back to that, that seems to think they're going to present in literal form. Like, this is not just going to be, it's going to start as UAPs, and it already has kind of done that, but it will eventually kind of, it will get to a point where they are actually here walking amongst us, and we will have to, he even said his language bot showed that there's going to be slang terms that humans use to describe them, and slang terms that we use to describe each other. Right, and he even starts his podcast with like "Hello Earthlings," "Hello Earth humans," and that kind of thing. He's got his own slang terms for humans that are coming out of this chatbot. So all of this stuff is like, it kind of seems crazy until it happens, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go find his channel. I didn't know he went that deep into it.
Oh yeah, he posts incredibly inconsistently. I wouldn't recommend the YouTube channel. Somebody on the YouTube, not Cliff, somebody grabs all his stuff and uploads it there, but it's all out of time. It's all out of chronological order. But if you go on Cliff High, he's got a website with his name in it, and then there's like videos there, and he posts them on there. So that's probably like the best place to check it out. But yeah, he does all sorts of videos. And the other thing he was calling for a long time ago was 0-point technology, and I was like, that's not going to happen in like 2026. But then I just clocked it the other day that what was the manufacturer? Some car manufacturer made these two electric cars, and one runs off a regular battery like a Tesla or whatever that you charge up and then it goes, and the other one collects like ions from the air, like literally a 0-point technology, and they proved that it worked. And so that was another thing he's seemingly right about, which again I just laughed at because I thought it sounded so ridiculous. But yeah, man, definitely check him out. He's a fascinating guy. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Do you have anything to add? Do you want to let people know where they can find you? I know you've got like a trading group if anyone's interested. Do you want to give yourself a shout out? I'll put the link to all your stuff in the description and stuff.
Yeah. I'm at Michael EW Pro _716, I think. And I got my group is linked to my my Twitter. So my X profile, and just want to say, I had a great time talking to you. I always talk to you on X, and I always enjoy your videos, and I always enjoy your posts, and just thank you for having me on. And I look forward to doing it again sometime. Whenever you want to do it, I'm available. I think you're brilliant, and I enjoy your work.
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate you. Maybe we can, we'll reschedule something maybe when we can see some tops coming in. I think for now, the focus should be on finding the tops, right? That's at least our focus. I'm sure you're probably the same, staying on these crazy trends. But I think, in a few months, we can run it back for sure. I'd really appreciate that. And I love your work on Twitter as well. So thanks for keeping the bull spirits high, because I don't know anyone with as bullish a TA as yours, but it's amazing. It's amazing how often this stuff comes true. So thanks again for your time. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I'll put all the links to your stuff in the description and pinned comment. And yeah,
when I get bearish, they're gonna miss me. They're gonna miss Bull Big Mike. Watch. You don't want to see Bear Big Mike. He's a totally different guy.
looking forward to it, brother. Well, thank you again, and yeah, we'll speak soon.
All right, bro. Have a good one.